Reality recap.
And hi, everyone. Yes, I know you have the reunion. Yes, we have 2 more episodes. And then we have the reunion, of course.
I look like the slay. I look like a mom. She was like, you the one that look like you got a high body count hair. I fell the fuck out, y'all.
Candace, has Deborah reached out to you to apologize after the episode aired showing Chris did not flirt with her?
She wouldn't dare. She would get eaten for breakfast.
Oh boy.
No, she's doubling down.
Why would you go meet with Ray J without talking to Princess or letting her know why? Like, she's trying to justify that she told her after the fact and not supposed to make it.
What do you think of your ex-husband Jim coming out and saying you did not try to stop him from suing Shannon and Cameron?
That's a good question. Well, I mean, if his memory is a little foggy about what transpired back then, that's okay. However, he did admit that I had nothing to do with the...
Reality recap. Reality recap.
It's Monday. It is your girl V with Reality Recap here for another live Tea Talk session. Come on in, guys. Come in. Today we are discussing the season 16 premiere of Real Housewives of Atlanta that aired last night. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you're watching from Instagram or from Facebook, you can go to the link in my bio. The YouTube channel is scrolling across. It's at Reality Recap 2876. Make sure y'all like this video, please. Share all those good things. Support. I appreciate you. We are streaming live right now across Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The chats are live. You can let me know your thoughts on last night's Sweet 16 season premiere of Real Housewives of Atlanta while I give you my unsolicited thoughts. I enjoyed this episode, y'all. I really did. I enjoyed the episode. I have been waiting for my peaches to return. I know a lot of people was skeptical about the new girls and not having some of the OGs and missing Nene, but I must say the season premiere delivered for me. The shade, the back and forth, some of it was a little annoying right out the gate. We'll get into that. It gave you guys my out of the gate commentary or thoughts last night on the episode. A lot of you said that it was on point. Y'all was thinking the same thing. So let me know. I'll read them really quickly. So these were my thoughts last night after just viewing the episode or during the episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta. I said, Shamea is a Dorit Jr., long-winded. I'm interested to get to know her, but she long-winded, child. Shamea's fashion and hair choices, questionable, you know? In the great words of my girl Luann, Countess Luann, even Louis Vuitton makes mistakes, honey. So just because you have money, it ain't always about the money. It's not what's on you, it's what's in you to carry the clothes, to have the style, to put it together. So I don't know. Shamea's hair and fashion is a bit questionable. Charles, I don't believe he likes Angela at all. I think that they have a strained marriage, and I'm sorry to say that, but the way he told her she was wearing too much makeup and she had on too many extra pieces of hair, the way he told her, yeah, go to the bathroom, deal with that thing lifting up on your head. Hey, Lily, thank you for checking in. I hope you're feeling better. I was thinking about you. I hope you are healing just fine. And yeah, Kelly doing the newbie coming for an OG thing. That is so old and tired. Shane learned her lesson from these other newbies coming for the OGs. It never works out. And girl, if you got questions about Simon and Portia getting together, go watch her special, child, because none of us are checking for that. We on to the fact that they divorcing and he's detained, child. Where nobody's asking questions about that. I don't know how long ago this was filmed, but nobody has questions about that, Kelly. Only you. Brittany, her nose jobs are clearly messing with her nostrils and her voice. It's annoying me a bit. She sounds like this when she talks. I don't know. And she seems to be a trophy wife. We'll see more about her. And then Portia, baby, I love you. You are the queen of housewives. You are my favorite of all times. You are the top slayer, the queen bee in my book. But girl, you didn't think to ask about you going to the secondary line at the airport and not through TSA or global check through before you got married, girl? Just a thought. Just a thought. I love you, girl, but just a thought. So those were my out of the gate thoughts on Real Housewives of Atlanta. But we're gonna get into it. Lila, you haven't watched the episode yet. You're gonna watch on Peacock when you're off work, but let me hear your point of view. You know I got one, girl. And I'm glad to hear your wrist is getting better. I'm so happy to hear that. I thought about that yesterday. I was like, I hope you stop on today so I could check how you are doing. I miss y'all. Can you tell? I miss y'all. This little break of not having anything on. I do watch Southern Charm. I just don't recap it here because that's just my little pleasure. I don't really recap it. But I miss y'all. But not to worry. Love After Lockup will be back the 21st, which is next Friday. So we'll be back with our Saturday Tea Talk sessions on Love After Lockup. I have some fun things lined up for you guys. I have been reaching out to past members of Love After Lockup, and they will be coming on and recapping some of the episodes with me. We'll be getting some of their thoughts. So I have some fun things lined up. I've been working. Even though, we've only had recaps pretty much Monday through Thursday right now is the recaps with, some of the shows not on. But I have some fun things lined up, trying to get interviews. And other than that, just minding my business, y'all. Like I have a new level of, I have turned into a Pilates princess. I'm drinking my water, drinking my protein, taking my collagen, honey, and minding my business and watching my TV shows. I am on another level. Trust me. Oh, Leela, you saw my pictures. And that too, guys. I told you I've been working. My husband has been helping. I got new promo pictures out now. So my profile picture changed. I'm thinking about changing all of this back here. I know he's going to be like, girl, I just painted this wall black for you. But I am thinking about softening up my tones and colors after my photo shoot. But you saw them. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Yes. So, yes, hubby did new promo pics for me. They came out. I'm so pleased with his concept, his thoughts, his patience with me. It's just been, that's what I've been doing on these days. I don't have to recap with y'all. Yes, the skin is glowing. I appreciate it. That collagen, girl. I've been taking that collagen. Well, let's get into Real Housewives of Atlanta, y'all. Don't forget, like this video, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Y'all see the YouTube channel running across it as I go through my thoughts. So right off the bat with Real Housewives of Atlanta, I want my tagline. We don't have taglines yet for Real Housewives of Atlanta. I can't wait. I will be squatting for them. You know that we usually get like 2 to 3 episodes in before we actually get the taglines. So I am squatting and waiting because I need my taglines. I want to know who's going to win tagline wars on Real Housewives of Atlanta. So I'll be squatting for that. But we open up with Portia talking to us about filing for divorce and how they had financial issues, trust issues. He wasn't the person that she thought he was, thought he was. Basically, she started to unfold that he was scamming back in the day. He didn't have a legit green card, that he was here on extended visas and, staying married so that he could keep staying over here in the States. So she started finding out those things. She got a foreclosure notice to the house, and that's where she drew the line. At that point, I really think it became about assets. We saw her go to the lawyer's office, and that's really what she was saying. The only way to enforce a prenup is by filing for divorce. So she had to do what she had to do. Things started to get ugly. He doesn't want to communicate with her at all. I said she got the Timu version of Shamea's husband, child. Like she thought she was getting her Shamea's husband, but she got the Timu version in Simon, honey. She also talked about him being detained last night on Watch What Happens Live. She was saying that she was at the finish line of her divorce. He wanted the divorce to be the final hearing to be in person at the courthouse. She said she did not want that because she know the current climate after Trump is in office, ICE is out snatching folks up, child, and she knew that, so she didn't want it to be in person. He pushed for that. I don't know. It sound like this was only my interpretation, but it sounded like he walked into it going into the courthouse and got snatched up. So he's still detained in Georgia. I couldn't find him on the site anymore. I don't know if they took him off the site because of him being high profile, but when you go to the ICE site, I couldn't actually find him. But we know if he was out, he'd be done posted on that page, that Instagram page that he loved to be so active on. And I haven't seen that, but I'm definitely got my alert set. But when if he does make a return. So she says she sends prayers and hoping that his family can figure it out, but she is still married currently because of that. So I don't really know if Portia would be the one that called ICE to have him, detained. I know that was a rumor floating around. She's saying, that's not what happened. He wanted to go into court for their final divorce hearing. He stepped up in there and got snatched up. That's what I took from her. That's my interpretation of her on Watch What Happens Live last night. I don't personally think she would have called ICE on him. That's just not who I think Portia is, but why would she have him detained and now she can't finalize her divorce? So I don't know how that's going to work out. But she also says she's not interested in dating right now. And, has she tried it? She ain't really interested in getting to know anyone. But, that's how we started off the episode, with Portia telling us what's going on with her divorce from Simon. Shamea takes center stage last night, and she's really seeming like the main character here this season. She called herself the BFF of Atlanta. She is the glue that's kind of bringing all the girls together. She has ties with Portia. She's friends with Kelly and Brittany. She knows Cynthia and Kenya through Portia. She knows, as well as Drew. She's kind of self-proclaimed the glue of this season, and giving that main character energy. I'm not sold yet, y'all, because she talked too much, and I'm not sold on her fashions. I'm really not. But she definitely got money. That's what I said. Simon is the Temu version of Shamea's husband. He's the real deal. They live in a $9 million mansion. Versace wallpaper. The house was amazing. She had a birthday party last night. She received a $450,000 car, Rolls Royce truck from her husband. She told us what he does for a living, so we got that straight and clear. He's not Simon out here scamming, robbing, and stealing, allegedly. But she said he builds, manufactures, and installs HVACs. And he does that. He's installed HVAC in most of the airports that we go through. So he got that long money, honey. So I said, good for Shamea. I never knew that about her. This entire time that she's been a friend of on Atlanta, we didn't really get to see her lifestyle. Like I said, her fashions wouldn't lead you to believe that she has a $9 million mansion. She just don't put it together like that for me. But I was shocked to find that out, and Portia mentioned that as well, because I think Kiki, shout out to Kiki on the Real Talk of Shame, that she was on Watch What Happens Live bartending last night. And she asked the question, has Shamea always been this rich, or is this something new? And she said, no, she is a real life queen of Atlanta. She's a queen, one of the Black queens of Atlanta. So this is not a new thing. They got old money, it sounds like. Lily said, I hope they grant her that divorce ASAP. She needs to drop that last name already. I mean, she's dropped it. I don't, it's not dropped from a court standpoint, but it seems like she's done with it. Does she even still have that on her? No, she doesn't have it on her Instagram anymore. It's just Portia Williams. So I don't know if she ever changed it on her Instagram. She just was going by Portia Gabadia, but I don't see it on her Instagram. So I think she's ready to get rid of that last name. So yeah, Shamea, she's in her $9 million mansion. She's planning her birthday party, her 42nd birthday party. And she also coined herself last night the female Jamie Foxx. She said something about her being a quadruple threat. I think she can act, she can sing, she can dance. I don't know what else she can do, but she is talented. I know she's a host of a radio show or something like that. She's a host, so she does that as well. She talks about her family life and, you know, well, first she talks about how she met her husband. And Lord have mercy, it was like the sand was dropping through the glass. The time was just tick 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 tick. She just was talking, 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 talking. That's why I said long-winded. She is a Dorit Jr. That's why I'm not sold on her being the main chick of this show. But yeah, she gave a lot of information last night. She's excited to be a housewife finally. You can definitely tell that. She even said it on her Instagram. You know, she posted her going to her first filming and how excited she was that day and how she remembers it. And finally she got her piece. So she's excited. And I'm excited for her. I'm no hater. I'm excited to see what she does with it, but she is long-winded. Okay. So we got to learn a little bit about that as well as her growing her family. She has two daughters, her second daughter through surrogacy, and her daughter was born premature, and she's had some health issues that we've seen her go through on social media. So, bless her and her children and cover them. And she's still looking to grow her family and, really just into her mom life heavy, doing what she has to do. They have round the clock care, nurse care for her daughter. And they're still continuing their journey to want to grow their family. So, blessings to her. I have a daughter that was born premature. I will say for me, luckily for me, thank God for me, not luck, but blessings. My daughter 24 weeks old and she is just perfect. She's the smartest little genius I ever seen. So I feel for her in that sense of going through a premature birth. It is not a game. So, it was cool to learn that about her last night. And Lily said, I was going to say that Dorit number 2. Yeah, she is a Dorit Jr. for sure. She's very, Shamea is very long-winded. We stopped by Drew House with Kenya. We got to see Kenya last night. I told you guys that we would see Kenya throughout the beginning of the season before she twirled down the hill, as Portia said, with whatever it is she showed of Brittany at her grand opening at her beauty salon. So we are seeing her. It does look like she's edited out a lot, but still prominent. She's bringing up the juicy conversation. She's throwing the shade. So even though Kenya's not getting a whole lot of camera time in this first episode, she made her moments count. She was the top person trending last night. I think we also started to see the beginning of her beef with Brittany. I don't know still how we got to her showing whatever she showed at her grand opening of Brittany from this little bit of shade and nonsense that happened last night. We'll get into it. But Kenya, like I said, we will see her towards the beginning of this season before she was removed off the show. And I'm still hoping, guys, that we will see Kenya on the reunion. She is owed that, in my opinion, to speak her piece, say what really happened from her end of the spectrum. I really want her at the reunion. And they asked Portia that on the Breakfast Club on her interview last week. And she said, they said, well, she, is she not going to be there? And she said her famous line, who said that? So we'll see. I'm holding out hope that Kenya will be at the reunion. I'm not counting her out, but she was trending last night. The people miss her. They don't like that she's not there. I saw some pages. My good Judy's over there at Bro Chat was saying that Brittany is the new it girl. She was trending last night. She was trending with about 25,000 mentions, while Kenya was trending with over 70,000 mentions on X last night. So, and I was saying, Bro Chat, go look at the comments as to why Brittany is trending. It's not positive. So before you go throwing the it girl on Brittany, I would check why she's trending. Okay. So I think that, the people miss Kenya. I do. I've said this over and over again. I want to know what happened for myself to make her do what she did. I'm not justifying. I need to know for myself. We've been speculating for far too long, and I'm ready to learn myself. So I'm seated, and we'll get into how their meeting went at Shamea's birthday party last night. But yeah, we stopped by Drew's house with Kenya. They have a play date with their 2 daughters. And Drew got a lot of shit going on, y'all. Like, she has a lot going on. She's not divorced yet. She and Ralph are having a nasty divorce, I guess, splitting assets, monies, whatever. I mean, maybe her royalties from the game, child. I don't know. He has been ordered to live in the basement. She can't go in her own damn basement. He got a separate entrance. She has to leave her house 3 weekends out of the month. I think she said the first, the third, and the fifth or the fourth weekend she has to leave her house for the entire weekend. It's crazy. Their text messages are only through an app, and they are monitored by a judge. It's a lot going on with Drew and Ralph. We didn't see him last night. We only heard his voice from the kids going to check to see if he was downstairs before they, I think, either left out or went to bed, and we heard them giving hugs and or whatever to him. But we have not seen Ralph yet on our screen, but he is down in the basement, and she can't go down there, child. On top of that, she has filmed several movies before filming. She's working on her music, and she's working on her music with Portia's baby daddy. And Kenya, like I said, she made the most of her time last night. She was asking questions like, okay, so is Portia okay with this? And she was saying, I would think Portia's okay. Dennis said, he got permission, but she talked about Dennis. I don't necessarily believe that they're in a full-blown relationship, her and Dennis, but they're closer than you would want your friend and your baby daddy to be. Let me just say that. And she talked about him being her saving grace, her person in her time of need, going through her divorce and her struggles, and him being the one that helped her push through with all that she had going on. If she knew she had a studio session, she would show up, and he just has been that person for her. It was weird for her that to be what we saw, knowing how, I ain't gonna say how close, but her and Portia seem to have a really cool relationship where they showed flashbacks of Drew at the reunion last year when she was upset and walked off stage. She called Portia, and Portia was giving her positive affirmations and, just positive thoughts and words, to help her get through. She's or was, I should say, a partner in Go Naked Hair. She was an ambassador. We always saw her in the Go Naked Hair. That has been cut off. She is cut off from Go Naked Hair, child. But it's just, I'm not fully sold on she's messing with Dennis. But it's too close for comfort for Portia to be her friend and her to be this close with Dennis. And when did Dennis get into music, y'all? Last I know, Dennis was slinging hot dogs. How did he go from hot dogs to hit records? Beyond me. But she's saying that this was always been his passion. And Kendra said, well, if this has always been his passion, why he didn't help Portia with her music? She said, well, I don't know how long it's been his passion. She said, but you said it's been for a long time. So that's not making sense. But yeah, I don't know how he went from hot dogs to hit records, but he's in the music industry, and he's managing or helping Drew release her next album. I don't understand it. I don't know what credentials he has to do this, but good luck with her and her music project. But Kenya was asking, she was like, all right, you sure now? You sure Portia's okay with that? And she was like, yeah, I mean, Portia is the type of girl that if she had a problem with it, she would tell me. I know Portia would tell me, well, get ready to be told, honey, because she's clearly not okay with it. Portia seems to feel like it's sneaky, like that that Drew was trying to film with Dennis behind her back without knowing, that it was, more to just doing music and stuff happening behind her back that she wasn't aware of, is what Portia seems to have the issue with. So we'll see how that develops throughout the season. But yeah, what else did we see last night? Kelly. Kelly's on the scene. She's our newbie. She is a single mom, 4 daughters, and she has a set of twins and her 4 children. She's going through a divorce. I looked up her husband last night. Let me see. But she's going through a really nasty divorce, and that's my issue. Like, she's really coming hard at Portia. She gets into it at a conversation or a dinner that she had with Shamea and Brittany, and talking about why she still that man, from that lady. She shouldn't have did that. This is her karma going through her divorce. Yet she's going through a whole nasty divorce herself. And that's like one of the housewives cardinal rule for me is newbies don't come for OGs. Just for the simple fact that we should get to know you before you go start and beef with somebody. Let's get to know you and see if we even like you enough for you to stay around before you go running and getting in somebody's business to try to make yourself relevant on the show. And I looked into it. Is it on this phone? What phone did I look it up on, child? But yeah, I was looking up her husband, and what's his name? His name is Mark Farrell Shuvalo. I'm hoping I'm saying the last name right. But they were married for I think about 11 years. They're going through a divorce. It's getting nasty. It's over money. She's accusing him of fraud, like he's allegedly liquidating assets and moving money so that she doesn't have access to it in their divorce. She wants their business to be solely hers. She asking for sole custody of the children. She has a chicken and waffle business that I believe has been doing really well. It's based off of her grandmother's recipes. She's also a published cookbook author. She's a personality on the Food Network. She's been on Good Morning America. She has her own waffle mix grits. She's also coming up with a mimosa line. So she's established. She does well for herself, but this seems to be a business that she built with her husband, and they are going through a very nasty divorce. Like I said, she's claiming fraud allegedly by her husband. He was supposed to turn in some documents at court. He didn't. He was held in contempt and arrested for not turning in these documents. It's a really nasty divorce, and they don't seem to be on speaking terms at all. I always say, whenever the husband comes up on the screen and the face is blurred out, it's not on good terms. We saw that with Stacy where her husband was blurred out. It's like usually when they're going through a divorce or whatever, the husband don't want to be shown. It ain't a good situation. So I would like to get to know more about her businesses. We ain't even get to see the chicken shack. Hey, Portia. Portia called it a chicken shack that she got, but we didn't really get to see her restaurant or her at work yet, or her doing her thing in the realm of maybe being on TV network or hosting one of her events I've seen on her pages. We didn't get much into her divorce. She talked about it, that she's going through it. She's ready to be divorced. They've been going through the process for over 2+ years. It was her daughter's birthday last night. Her daughter turned 17. She gave her daughter 17 purses. It was Prada, Balmain, everything you can name. She was, giving her that. Be honest though, yet she lives in a townhouse. I expected her to be in a huge mansion with the gifts and lavish things that she has going on. She has like a Marlowe type townhouse. So I was like, okay. But I would really like to get to know more about her. You see, what I do know, I had to go and read because we spent most of the night of her worried about Portia. And that I am not a fan of. So right now, Kelly, I don't know, but we got to see a little bit of Kelly last night. Like I already said, Portia went to see her lawyer, uncovering that he didn't have a green card, and he's done his old scamming, all the things that came out. He was scamming back in the 80s, child. He's sticking and moving to stay in the country. So she's trying to get a divorce, as well as her lawyer is helping her file for a filing so that she can film in their marital home. We know that Simon filed for a cease and desist so that Portia couldn't film in their home. So she's trying to get a motion to be able to do that under the grounds of it messing with her bag, getting her money if she can't film in her home. So that's what she went to the lawyer to work on with last night. Lily said, "Oh no, she's trying to show off for the camera. 17 purses is insane." Yeah, she gave her daughter a purse for every year. She gave her Chanel, Prada, Balmain, Burberry. Like she gave her every purse that I would love to have. She did that last night. And that's, the gist of what we saw is that in a small conversation about her divorce and what's happening. But most of what I told you, I went and researched myself because she is all up Portia's ass. But yeah, so Portia went to the lawyer. She's working on that. Permissions to film in the marital home. She's in the home with Pilar, and Simon is not there. She was granted like temporarily to be in the home at the time of this filming. Shamea meets up with Brittany as well as Kelly, and that's where we get to meet Brittany. I think she's had multiple nose jobs because this is what she sounds like when she talks. It's annoying me, but I'm gonna give her a chance. She seems to be a trophy wife, a socialite. I didn't see much going on from a business standpoint from her, and I'm still trying to figure out what her husband does for a living. But she showed us her upgraded anniversary ring. It's a 10-carat ring. It was huge. I was saying, girl, put that shit up in a safe. You're in Atlanta. They're robbing homes left and right out there. Please don't walk around with that 10-carat ring on, sweetie. But you gonna learn because they robbing all the reality TV stars out there in Atlanta and Beverly Hills too. But she had her 10-carat ring on, and she might want to put her stuff up. But they get into their opinions, and this is where Kelly says that she talks about Shamea talks about wanting them to all get together, Portia being her good friend, and she's going through a very public divorce and it's stressful. And that's where Kelly's saying, well, that's karma for her taking that girl, man. Why she take that girl, man? She's giving her opinion, not knowing nothing. Like, girl, go watch her Portia having a baby special, or go watch her special with her family and Simon and all of them going to Mexico. Girl, do something before you come in. She's just coming in real hot for no reason. And that's what I put in my notes. Like, girl, nobody wants to know about Portia, how Portia got Simon. It's a whole special on that. Bye. We're not worried about that. But Brittany also talked about what she heard about Drew, that she heard that Drew was in the club holding hands with Dennis. She heard that they're together since they were on the subject of Portia. She brings that up as well. Messy, messy, messy. She also mentioned that she dated Dennis. So she talks about she's dated Dennis. They went on one date. He brought her a diamond necklace to the date. He brought her that gift. And she also talked about how she was a video vixen and in all the men magazines when she was in high school. Yeah. So we'll get to see what Brittany has to offer besides her body and and her 10-carat ring. But I don't really see she has much else going on. But oh my gosh, how rude of me. I wrote my note. She was a video hoe back in high school. Excuse me, y'all. But I'm not gonna be judgmental. We listen and we don't judge, but we're gonna see what it is that Brittany has to offer us other than going through this whatever happens with her and Kenya. But I will say Shamea takes up for Portia saying, like, do you know this stuff to be true, or this is just the blog stuff that you're saying? You don't really know what's happening. Be careful just listening to blogs. She did stand up for her friend in that moment, and it was clear that she was uncomfortable. And let me got some more comments. She said, it said learn from Anala from Married to Medicine. Exactly. hide your stuff. Learn from Manala, from Ciara, from Love and Hip Hop. Learn from Rashida. Learn from a few people, a few reality TV stars that got their homes robbed. Football players getting their homes robbed. They out there in Beverly Hills robbing everybody. Like sometimes flossing everything you got in a 10-carat ring on camera might not be the best. You can wear it, but to bring it out, show it, and tell us the carats and all of that, maybe not the best idea. But after this conversation with Shamea, Brittany, and Kelly, Shamea, of course, she takes Portia out, trying to lift her spirits because she's going through divorce, and she tells her straight up what Kelly had to say about her, and Portia is ready. She's sitting on ready. Oh, really? Okay. So yeah, she said your birthday party is gonna be interesting because she's definitely gonna pull up on Kelly, as well as she was told about Dennis potentially hanging out with Drew more than just for her birthday party, that they're in clubs together, allegedly holding hands. So she downloaded Portia. You know what she also did? She let Portia know that Simon had texted her and congratulated her on, being on the new season of Real Housewives of Atlanta. She showed Portia her phone and the text messages. Kyle Richards, take notes. This is what you should have did when you got asked about you texting on with PK, instead of trying to hide it and show half your text messages and looking like you was talking shit about the reach. She handed her phone over, said, "This is what he said," and she in the text message I said, "Thank you, brother." Portia said, "Nah, he ain't brother no more. He just Simon." And she said, "Okay, choose your side." Choose your side. Be a down ass bitch. Be a good friend. That's what Shamea did last night. So Kyle Richards, Beverly Hills, take notes. I wrote that because I thought, Kyle needed a little lesson in one-on-one in girl code. So Shamea did the right thing. So Portia's sitting on ready to go to this birthday party, learning all this information about Drew and Dennis, as well as everything that Kelly had to say about her. And that's when she called Kelly's chicken place a chicken shack. The shade, honey, was shading last night, and I enjoyed every bit of it. So we get to Shamea's birthday party. Cynthia comes in. Lord, Cynthia is spreading, y'all. Cynthia is not giving supermodel vibes. That butt, I said, she got to get the right shape wear, because that butt was all over the place in that dress. The boobs was spilling. Now she looked good. She looks good. The cheekbones are still legendary. But Cynthia, you spreading, girl. You was spread. So, but we got to see Cynthia. She was there first in all of Shamea's house. She was enjoying herself. So Cynthia was in the building at Shamea's birthday party. We also met Angela Oakley. She comes in with her husband, Charles Oakley. My understanding, he's a legendary basketball player. I am a football girly, not a basketball girly, but he's super tall. So he fits the bill. But they come in and she tells us how she, she can work her magic on Charles, that she's an alpha female. She knows how to work around him. But he was playing her the fuck out, y'all, last night. Like I said, no wonder in the trailer we saw something to the effect of her saying that divorce is not an option, because it's definitely seeming like it's on the damn table. They don't seem like they get along. We didn't see much from them last night. He only said a few words, but he was a little condescending. He said that you got on too much makeup and too much extra hair. He was telling her wig was lifting, and yeah, you need to go in the bathroom, fix that, figure it out. Like somebody said on threads in my comments, well, he was just telling her, maybe he's a straight shooter and just telling her, like, look, your wig lifting, you on camera, go fix it. It didn't come off like that. It came off like he was annoyed that she even had the thing on anyway. And then on top of that, it's slipping back like a convertible on her head. That's how it came off to me. But I don't know. I just don't feel like he really likes her. And it kind of makes sense as well that we're hearing chatter in the trailer about him cheating or doing whatever. The man got money. He's a basketball legend. He's in Atlanta. I'm sure, the BBLs is coming at him left and right, but we'll see what's happening there. But it didn't come off like he likes her much at all. That's just my interpretation. And I didn't really like him too much. Doesn't seem like a charismatic man or a smooth operator to me. He just came off as a bit of a D-head. So we're gonna see how their marriage unfolds in this season. I'm excited to see more. We also see this is where Brittany and it seems like the start of Brittany and Kenya's beef, which to me, it definitely doesn't depict how we got where we are with Kenya not being on the show, but this is the start of their beef. Kenya comes in, she greets everyone, she introduces herself to Kelly, she introduces herself to Brittany, she tells them they look beautiful. She's asking questions, okay, how do you know Shamea, yada, yada, yada. They're talking, and she's asking if they're married, and Kelly says, yeah, I'm married. And she mentions her 10-carat ring again. She says, this is my second ring. She said, oh, you've been married twice. And Brittany said, no, I haven't been married twice. This is just an upgraded ring. And Kenya said, oh, I'm sorry, because I don't see you don't have a wedding band. So I thought that you were like engaged on your second marriage. And Brittany took that as if she was throwing shade. And she even said, yeah, Brittany said, I was his insurance agent. And Kenya made another little cute joke. She said, oh, he was in good hands with Allstate. He was in good hands with you, huh? And she said, yeah, he was in good hands and never left. But she took that little joke of her asking, oh, is this your second husband, your second man, that's your second ring, or whatever she was saying. She didn't have a wedding band on. She didn't. I mean, I don't have a wedding band either. So I can understand that. But she didn't have a wedding band on. And that is what's going to start the snowball of their beef. She was, Brittany seemed triggered by that. She says she got 3 older sisters. They're tough with her. She's used to dealing with the shade. And she took that to heart, what Kenya said. And that little conversation is what is going to get us down to whatever happens with Kenya. It's going to snowball from there. So I'm seated to learn more because, like I've already said this a million times, I want to see for myself what caused Kenya to show whatever she posted at her grand opening that done got her suspended, kicked off the show, no longer filming, etc. So that little conversation is what's gonna lead down this slippery slope. So we will see. Shamea gets her surprise. She gets a brand new colored in Porsche. I was about to say Porsche Cullinan Rolls Royce truck. Portia comes into her party extremely late, talking about it was traffic, child. But we saw her at 6:00 at home, still getting her frontal laid. And she posted pictures in her outfit from the party. So she clearly had a photo shoot before she left. I'm pretty sure that's why she was late, not no 2 hours late for traffic. It's because she was getting that frontal laid down and taking pictures. But yeah, she gets to the party and she pulls up on Kelly right in time because Kenya's sitting down saying, like, so Kelly, heard you was upset that Shamea went back and told Portia what you had to say. They best friends. Why wouldn't you expect that? And in the meantime, you have Kelly sitting, not Kelly, you have Brittany sitting there asking Kenya for a hug, which was a bit weird, but saying, you hugged everybody when you came. She said, no, I hugged Cynthia. That's my best friend. And she's kind of trying to fill Kenya out. So she's sitting over there looking a little bit like a pick-me girl. Then you got Kelly sitting there explaining herself as to why she feels the way she feels about Portia. So Portia pulls up and sit down. So like, yeah, she said, heard you got a lot to say about me, but what's your last name? Who are you? What do you do? Kelly's like, I think you know my name. No, I don't really know your name. I don't know you. So why is it that you have such strong opinions and the first things out your mouth is about how I got my husband or what I'm going through? Is that how is that your first impression that you really want to make? And Kelly's like, yeah, I mean, that's what I said. And Portia pretty much said, I don't want to talk to you no more. I'm good off you. So, we'll see where it goes from there. But we ended the conversation with Drew sitting there And she's talking about her birthday party, and they were saying how they didn't get an invite to Drew's birthday party. And she said, well, it was a surprise. I gave phone numbers to my assistant, but my assistant didn't call anybody. And Portia said, well, I got invited through Dennis. Is he your assistant? Because he invited me. And Shamea said, you know what? I wouldn't be authentic if I didn't ask you, are you messing with Dennis? And Drew had this look of what on her face, and that's where we left off at the party. But listen, y'all, I would rate this episode a 9 out of 10. I enjoyed it. If you haven't watched it yet, it was a good episode. I had to put Married to Medicine on pause because they is wearing my nerves, child. Wearing my nerves. I didn't even watch Married to Medicine last night. I'm gonna watch it tonight and recap it tomorrow. But I felt like Real Housewives of Atlanta deserved its own recap. I didn't want to mush it together with Married to Medicine. I enjoyed it. It was good. If you haven't watched it, Lily, like you said, go on and watch it on Peacock, or if you set your DVRs, watch it. I am here for this cast. They are spicy. They are feisty. They are shady. Real Housewives of Atlanta. The peaches are back, baby. The peaches are back, and I am glad about it. You can tell, I think, in my demeanor. I'm so excited for Real Housewives of Atlanta to be back. Yeah, it was a definitely good season premiere. Listen, it was no Salt Lake City premiere, okay? But it was up there. It was up there in good premieres. A lot going on, a lot of shade, a lot of, tension in the group. So it was a good season premiere for me, guys. So yeah, that is my thoughts on Real Housewives of Atlanta season 16 premiere. I will continue to recap this season and bring you piping hot tea on the season, on the off the screen drama happening. I will make sure to give that all to you. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's scrolling across the screen there. You can see it. Like this video, please. Share. YouTube channel's Reality Recap 2876. You can also monetary donations. The Cash App is up there to keep me growing, keep upgrading my equipment and my studio. I appreciate the support so far. I will be back tomorrow. Married to Medicine will be pre-recorded because I don't have many thoughts. I watched it last night, but I didn't watch it. So I'm going to go back and look at it. I literally have 3 notes on that show right now compared to all the notes that I have for y'all on. You can just see, honey, like this is the notes I had on Real Housewives of Atlanta, and this is Married to Medicine. Boop, that's all I have. So I'm gonna go back. That will be a pre-recorded episode, and I will load that on YouTube. So make sure if you don't catch this live or any of my lives in its entirety, all of the recaps are up on YouTube. So make sure, again, you subscribe. So a pre-recorded episode recap of Married to Medicine will be loaded tomorrow. And I will be back around the same time, probably around 6 o'clock, to recap tonight's episode of Love and Hip Hop Miami. I gave you a sneak peek. It's on my pages on Instagram and Facebook. Take a look at that. Watch the episode tonight, and I will be back to recap that tomorrow. So yes, guys, we're in full effect with a new week of shows and recaps. Keep it locked here for all your reality TV news needs. It's your girl V with Reality Recap. And before I get out of here, as I always say, reality TV stars are humans too. Don't forget that. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a great Monday night and get some rest, y'all, because this spring forward or whatever we did had your girl messed up. I was up late and couldn't get up this morning. So I'm trying to get myself back in a good sleeping pattern. So get y'all rest, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.